Startups try to create new categories each day, and almost all of them fail. Even giants like Marketo and Greenhouse and Domo all tried to invent new spaces, then eventually retreated back to the safety of established categories. But a few startups actually do break out. Datadog turned IT monitoring into observability, and Beyond Meat forced its way into the traditional meat aisle of grocery stores. So, how did they pull it off? It's actually studied. A UC Davis professor analyzed over 4,500 software companies across a period of 12 years, and she found something that's kind of counterintuitive. Dynamic new categories only stick when an old category is completely rigid and constrained. So if you're trying to break away from an established market right now, you need to run your strategy through this strict three-part diagnostic. So let's jump into it. First, is the old category actually well defined? A well defined category is when buyers can describe it in a short, simple sentence that's going to align with basically what every other buyer would say. This consistency is important because a new category requires a solid wall for us to push against. So take Datadog in the late 2010s. Engineers tracked application performance and system logs and infrastructure health in three very distinct rigid platforms. Datadog's pitch was to unify all three of them into observability, and it worked because the boundaries of those three existing buckets were already super defined and concrete. Beyond Meat had a similar structural advantage. For decades, buyers had a stable one-sentence definition of a veggie burger. It's a frozen patty made of beans and grains for vegetarians. But Beyond Meat succeeded because they could position themselves in opposition to that and push away from it. Compare that to something like AI assistants today. So Siri, Gemini, Microsoft Copilot, hundreds of vertical tools all use that label AI assistant. But if you asked 5 buyers what it actually meant, you're going to get 5 different answers because the category lacks consistency. Therefore, it's difficult to push away from because there's no standard of what it would mean to be the opposite. So just try testing this by doing some Googling for the old category language. What we want to see at the top of the search results is whether or not there are consistent definitions. Do people agree on what the category is? The lesson here is that the clearer the old category's edges are, the easier it is to break away from. Just make sure you don't confuse your internal product clarity with the buyer's reality. Second, can your buyers confidently tell you what the category is not? This is often a cleaner signal than asking what it is, because when Beyond Meat launched, they totally bypassed the frozen veggie aisle and they packaged their product just like raw beef. They placed it directly in the meat section and they priced it at meat prices. They made it immediately obvious what they weren't: some frozen soy patty. Test this by asking your prospects what else they are considering. If they hesitate or name tools from completely unrelated sectors, your old category might be a little too fuzzy to anchor the new one. Third, where is the money coming from? New categories don't just manufacture budgets out of thin air. Successful category creators can identify an existing funded pool of capital and then siphon money away from it. So Datadog didn't ask companies to invent an observability budget. They told CIOs to consolidate 3 separate line items that they were already paying for, and then the money flowed from that consolidation. Beyond Meat did something similar in the grocery store. The veggie burger share of wallet was microscopic compared to what the average shopper would spend in the meat aisle. So by changing their shelf placement, they were able to tap into an existing and highly funded household budget. Test this by asking prospects what software or process that your product is replacing. If they can't name one, your product may not find a budget line item to support it. New categories must pull their money from well-defined categories that are already funded. And the UC Davis professor summarized her research with a clear warning for founders. No matter how new the technology is, it's going to be hard to position that product as something new in the market if the categories around it aren't well defined. So don't just look inward at your product and your team and your branding to decide if a new category is for you. The more important variable is the maturity of the incumbent categories around you. A link to the full written out playbook is in the description. Subscribe so you get fresh insights every week. Thanks.